knock the door and the door shall be opened without your opening the door. And the point of that sentence or phrase is obviously you don't do anything. And that's how you open the door. That's the paradox of all the paradox. If you play with your mind, you cannot figure out because the mind has limitation and therefore you knock the door. And when you knock the door, you try your effort with your mind, but I was writing that it has a limitation. You just stop knocking the door and just be. And then there was no door. That's the point of it. I know this sounds ridiculous, but that's the way to read that sentence. Door shall be opened. But the door is already open. There's a saying Koan about it. I don't know the detail of it, but there was one monk telling the other, or maybe the master telling to the disciple, come here, and handed him out the sword. And as he was to reach out, the priest or the master said, don't take it with your hand. Take it. So that was the koan. The point is that you have to take it without your hand. That's the impossibility. That's such a difficult koan. But that's the point of it. In that moment, if you use your mind, you cannot do anything. But when you're empty, you already have the sword in your hand. It's kind of like that. So, knock and the door shall be open can be seen as without knocking, the door is already open. How to open it? With no mind. Just like this Zen koan. I'm not sure if I can explain more than I did. But that's what it is about passing the koan or passing the gate. In Zen, they talk about the Mumonkan. There's a gate without the gate. Mumonkan. No gate, gate. We create the gate in our mind. Therefore, we struggle. But if we don't create the gate by using mind, but empty-minded, calm and quiet, you see the bottom of the ocean because you're not disturbed by the mind using the logic, cause and effect. If I do, then what happens? But you cannot get out of it because that's the wrong way to knock the door. The way to knock the door is not knocking the door. Be open, be empty-minded, then you pass the koan, you pass the gate. Gate of no gate. So when we are born, here comes my explanation, I guess. When we are born, there was no barrier. But as we learn all the language, the words, sentence, the logic, if you do this, this happens. If you do this, then there's a gate. When there's a gate, you knock the door. And usually it opens. But when they say about this as knock the door and it will open. It will be opened. You're not opening it because you don't need to open it, so it's already open. That's how you solve it. It's already solved. And there's no suffering because there's no effort. I hope I can communicate this on this YouTube. I'm starting to wonder because more I talk, it gets to the state of Zen as a way to communicate. Talking about the two universe, talking about knocking the door, and talking about melting into the nature, no mind, empty mind. All of those explain the way to solve is to know it's already solved. The door is open. So far as you stop using your mind, then there's no boundary. And you are there, passing through the gate or the door, and you find yourself, you are the universe. That would not be a good one to explain because if you use the word like you are the universe, then what is the universe? Here's a question. It's may be said as emptiness. Calm and quiet mind is the answer. And there's no gate. Then the wisdom panya will pop up. It's already there. The reason why we don't see it is we're using our mind. So you may think, what's the point of having a mind then? In the sense of connecting to the being, who we are, original being of we are, it's beyond the grasp of the mind. So you have to let go. You're holding a door and you let go. Then you find there's no door. Of course, when I say something like this, usually I get 15, 20, 25 views, but there will be no views because it's beyond the comprehension and it's meant to be beyond the comprehension because the answer is already there. And the mind is made to ask the question, to give the answer, and question again. So I can keep on writing or doing this YouTube thing if I use the mind as if there's some movement, evolution, the learning. But all of that takes some effort. And the point of this is you don't give it down. You don't knock the door. You just empty yourself and calm and quiet. Then you are penetrating all the way to the end of the universe. Okay, that again is a funny expression. But you are one with the being. And that's all there is to it. So that's the other identity I mentioned about the two universe, or the me identity and the reality, truth, as other identity. 2, separation. And we've been talking about how to connect, how to find the wisdom. And the best way to find the wisdom is the effortless effort. Just let go. When we have a problem, you want to solve it, but we let go. When I had the problem of this losing the 2 days worth of writing, it shouldn't take too long. So maybe it's only 4 hours altogether over 3 days or something. But that effort is unnecessary. But because there are words you're using, or I'm using words to the best of my knowledge to reach out to the point across. And I'm doing it exactly. And I have no idea how I would explain this in the video description, because in Zen they talk about head over head. The idea is not adding head, but taking the head out of it. Be empty. So it's interesting that I had a concern of that description that was gone. And I was using the mind, and then I have to go back. And I went back. We're doing this, knock the door, Koan, the puzzle. You're knocking it because you want to open it. But if there's no you and you are the being of that as it is, empty, you pass through the door. There's no door. So that's the eternal comfort, liberation. To me, the view count indicated something, but now I realize 0 view count may be the answer to what I'm looking for. Without my talking, everything is resolved. That's one way to say it. I hope it makes sense. Making sense in the sense of being. Thank you. Thank you.